Hi, I'm here today with my dear friend and colleague, Catherine McConkie. Now, Catherine and I have known each other for more than a decade. We have worked on 6 books together. We have romped around uh, kitchens all over the country, hotel kitchens, hospital kitchens, people's kitchens. Um, we have done demonstrations in
Community centers.
community
Yeah.
centers. We have prepped out big demonstrations in breezeways of hotels. We have gotten lost in Scottsdale, Arizona together. We're like the culinary road girls, right?
Right. Different kind of culinary tourism.
That's right.
The back roads.
That's right. We're like the Thelma and Louise
Yeah.
of the culinary set,
Yeah.
right? So you have just worked on a project where you've done a little bit of your famous culinary sleuthing and where you have kind of uncovered some two pieces of equipment, kitchen equipment, that many of us have, or at least I have, sort of like forgotten about. And they are the slow cooker and the new quote unquote instant pot, which is the third generation of pressure cooker.
Right.
And I know such a total, I'm just so naive when it comes to these because you know that I'm a stovetop girl and I like to be standing there and doing my little thing. But you have the patience to unearth the magic of the pots and I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of unlearning when I was using these things. The slow cooker was a little bit more. I had a little more familiarity with because we'd had one as a young girl and as a young adult. I had a slow cooker, and it was fairly simple because it was just on off, high low. So I had a bit of a sense on how to use them. I thought that, historically they've always been just kind of a chop and drop type of a thing. You throw everything in, put the top on, and come back. What I wanted to do was begin to look at the slow cooker, because it doesn't have a lot of options on the heat on there. I had to first understand what the slow cooker was. So there's 2 buttons on there. There's a high and a low. And originally I thought that had something to do with the heat level. And it doesn't, as it turns out. So the heat level is just what the heat level is. You turn the thing on and it goes up to a certain heat. What the difference in the buttons is that when it's on low, it takes longer to get up to that heat ceiling. And when it's on high, it reaches it a little more quickly. So once I discovered that,
I mean, I had no clue.
I know. I don't think anyone does. I think it's like we're programmed to thinking it had to do with how high the fire is going to be.
Yeah.
So once I understood that, I started to realize I needed to start deconstructing some of your beautiful recipes that I know are tried and true and that work, and apply them for using that particular device.
Wow. And what did you discover in terms of techniques that make it a little bit where those flavors can come out even better? Because I know that, for example, you can't brown in a slow cooker. You can't saute in a slow cooker. You would have to do it on the stove and then dump it in the pot. And I have a feeling you didn't want people to do that, did you?
No, I didn't want people to do that because the whole thing was about saving time and working with time. How do we, if it's not literal time, how do we create more mental space time, like that, just time to just take a breath and relax. So what I did was ended up with, as soon as I get ready to do a recipe, I turn the cooker on high because now I know that the element is going to get more heat right out of the gate and it's going to start warming up. and I add my oil there, and it's not as hot, because this is the temperature we're talking about is 200 degrees. Somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 210 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
And it takes a long time to get there.
Right.
But it begins warming the oil, and we know that when we warm the oil, that's when things it begins pulling the flavor out from the ingredients. So that's how I was approaching it. Turn it on, add some oil, put the lid on, get everything ready. So it was sort of backwards.
Right.
Usually you get on the stovetop, we get everything ready.
Right.
And then go in and start our cooking. Here, we're getting the pot ready, basically, the slow cooker ready,
Right.
and then adding the ingredients.
This is brilliant.
In stages.
This is brilliant. I mean, it's just inverting and making the most of your time.
That's right. That's right. And there was something else that happened in there with I call it undoing my thinking, was that it opened up some more creativity as well. Like an understanding. Like what is it that this ingredient is doing for the dish? So and learning and working with the actual personality of the ingredient or its job in the recipe, and then applying it that way with the slow cooker.
Brilliant. Now, those pressure cookers.
Da 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 da.
Oh my God. I mean,
right. Who doesn't tense up around a pressure cooker?
Well,
right?
I told you the story of when I was in culinary school, because Catherine and I both went to the same culinary school, but in different years. And those rickety old pressure cookers, right, with the seals that were like a little questionable, all depending on which one you picked that day. Right. And I had black beans blow up in my face. But they're not like that anymore.
No, they're not like that anymore. I used to run past ours in the kitchen, when ours was going, because it was like in there going all crazy. So there was quite a deep imprint about the pressure cooker equals something dangerous. The good news about pressure cookers is that they're such a time saver in a different way, because they get things done from scratch really, really pretty quickly. Now, these newer generation ones are electric. And one of the things that's wonderful about them as compared to the slow cooker is that you can saute in there.
Right.
So again, you have to stop, switch the thinking around. It's like, all right, well, I have browning as an option on the cooker, on the electric cooker. I use the Instapot, and I had to learn about it, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of daunting. It has all these buttons and functions and things to do. And so one of the things that I began with was just really streamlining which functions we needed to use. There's, of course, a lot of potential there and many, many things that a person can do with the Instapot. I chose two, saute and pressure, manual, and that was it. And then up and down on the thing, so that it made it more available for people, because I noticed when I was beginning to use it, this is something else. I figure if it's happening to me, it's going to happen to other people.
Right. I
saw all these buttons. I was trying to read the manual, and I thought, no, I feel like just putting it back in the box, and
which is what I did. So I said, "Could you help me figure this out?"
Right. And so the Instapot is they're so quiet. I didn't even know if it was working, to be honest. I kept waiting for it to do something, to give me a sign that it was actually doing something, and I started getting doubtful that it was actually even turned on or operating correctly.
Right, because it wasn't rattling or hissing.
Exactly.
Right.
I wasn't noticing when I was having this tension.
Right.
So yeah. But it was a great device, a very good time saver. One of the things I love about the pressure cooker and the Instapot, or any pressure cooker really, is like how quickly you can do things like legumes, especially, or grains, really fast, and it makes it available.
Right, with process videos and Catherine's tried and true tricks of the trade, where she takes the pressure out of using the pressure cooker and expands time through using the slow cooker, and it's invaluable. And if anybody could take my recipes and convert them into this new way of thinking, it's you, since you are always in my head when I'm creating a recipe, because you test all of those recipes, and you are such a stickler that if I have like 1 grain of oregano too much, I'll get a note from you saying, that oregano, it's just too bossy.
That's right.
So we can guarantee everybody that this is going to be like the most detail-oriented guide into making friends with these 2 pieces of kitchen equipment that don't have to be relegated to the garage.
Right, and I hope that they help people. That was really the hope, is that they would serve people well. Yeah.
I'm getting mine now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good.